Hi everyone. Today I'll be going over a catfishing video with some tips and tricks. What I like to do is fish for these catfish in the river. I use a circle hook and chicken livers. So what I do is I go through that chicken liver several times with the hook to get it into a bit of a ball, and then with a gentle pendulum motion, I lob the bait out into the river. If you whip that chicken liver, you're pretty quickly going to rip it off, so you've got to be pretty gentle. Once I have that chicken liver out into the river, I leave the bail open and I let the current take the line downstream and eventually close the bail and let the bait swing into a little bit slower moving part of the water. Generally, it's going to pull it into shore a bit, as this figure I've attached shows. You can run multiple lines and run them back different distances to cover more ground for these catfish. So while you're dropping back your line, you'll oftentimes need to let it get into position and then leave your rod, sit and watch for a bite. However, sometimes while you're dropping, you can get lucky and actually have a fish pick it up right on that placement, as happens in this video here. When you're fighting these fish, oftentimes they're going to feel pretty large because not only are you fighting the fish, but you're also fighting the current. So it can be a bit deceiving. However, you always want to be prepared because the river does hold some pretty big surprises as well. So we'll get this guy reeled in and go to our next video. What I'm showing here is the different action that you will see in your rod tip while fishing for these catfish. There's pretty two distinct activities. One would be the gentle tick of a fish somewhat mouthing up the liver. At this point, if you were to set the hook, you'd likely not catch the fish. You'll see your line going from taunt to relax, and a little bit of motion in the rod tip. And that's all while the fish is mouthing up your bait, but really not ready to be caught. There's a pretty clear distinction between these and when that turns into a more dramatic pull. And at that point, that's when you would start reeling and pull your rod away from the direction of the fish. Because you're using a circle hook, it's going to be less dramatic of a hook set than, say, for example, like a bass or a pike. You're just going to start reeling and pull, as we do here in this video. When you're reeling this in, you'll just keep with constant pressure, similar to reeling in any other fish. And the circle hooks, as I show here, generally keep the fish hooked pretty well once you get them hooked. You'll see here at the start of this next video how I'm not doing a dramatic hook set like I talk about, but again, just pull away from the direction of the fish and start reeling. And really with a circle hook, as we're using, that's all the hook set that you're going to want to use. I've found with catfishing, it's often a great activity for taking out newer people. You can be pretty exact about your setup because you're going to be setting up the rods. You're going to get them exactly into the area you want. And then you can get your guests to watch the rod tip and you can kind of guide them through the right time to pick up the rod. And then when those ticks turn into that pull, you can tell them to start reeling. And generally, they can get some pretty good fish with this method and have a really good day of fishing and pull in some big fish. So I found this to be a great summer fishing activity. I've found the catfishing to heat up quite a bit as the summer goes on, and you get further into the summer, it gets hotter, and those chicken livers do a really good job of dispersing a pretty big scent out in the river. So we'll get this catfish reeled in and show him to the camera. Overall, this is a pretty fun way to catch some often pretty big fish and get some good battles. It's a great way to take new people out fishing and teach them the excitement of fishing as well. So I'll conclude the video with this catfish, and I hope you've learned something.